cockroaches, black mold, barracks bunnies. These are all common aspects of military barracks. What's going on, guys? My name's Bradley. I'm an Army veteran, airborne infantry to be exact, and I spent most of my days in Army barracks. People think Army barracks are like the movies in boot camp, where it's just a big open bay, 40-some beds, and you're walking around in a white t-shirt and dog tags. That's not what the real barracks are. That's what you do when you're in the field or you are in boot camp. Those are the kinds of areas you'll stay in. The real barracks that you live in day to day is more so like college dorms, but way shittier. I've lived in a few different barracks in my time, and none of them have been good. They've all been absolutely terrible. And if you're living in the barracks, it's because you're under the rank of E6. Anybody under the rank of E6 that's not married has to stay in the barracks. And if you are married or you're above E6, you get this thing called BAH, which is basic housing allowance. And you get about, I think it was $1,400 a month. So technically, you're paying $1,400 a month to stay in the barracks. Some of the worst barracks I've ever stayed in, there's zero privacy. It's just one big open room. You got a toilet and a sink and a fridge, maybe a microwave. I swear to God, there was one barracks that I didn't have a microwave. I had to walk out of my barracks room, sandals, fully clothed, obviously, and walk to a DFAC, which is a dining facility, and use a microwave there. Terrible. I didn't stay there too long, thank God, but I got a short clip here I'll put in. So before I got to my unit, I stayed in these barracks here, and it was a giant room. Luckily, it had a microwave, thank God, but there was no room. It was super small, terrible mattress, and again, zero room, zero privacy, absolutely terrible. My next barracks that I stayed in was a little bit nicer. At least I had a door. All right, so I had a door. I was like, thank God, I have a door, so I have some type of privacy, because you really it's not even like privacy to do like weird shit. It's like, I just don't want to I don't want to see humans. Like, I just want to be alone. Like, I just want to peace and quiet, maybe listen to my music or something. I just don't want to look at somebody, right? And that's the kind of privacy you do not have. And when you do get that in the Army, you cherish it, and it's really special, really. But unfortunately, there was no stovetop, there was no oven, there was no nothing. It was actually against the barracks rules to even have a hot plate, which is ridiculous. So you can't even cook in there. You can just use a microwave. And the sink, my bathroom sink, which you share a bathroom with another guy, grown man, a nasty dude, the bathroom sink was bigger than the damn kitchen sink. Whoever designed these barracks, I can't even say it on YouTube, but it's a very common place, especially Fort Bragg, where half of Fort Bragg is updated, because back in, I think in like 2006, George Bush was walking through Fort Bragg and was like, oh, really? And so they started updating. They're like, hey, put some money in these buildings. The president's coming. And he only made it halfway, and something happened. He left, and they stopped updating it. That's a true story. That's not me making anything up. And they didn't make it to where my unit was. So we got the real rundown shit. I'm talking black mold all over the place. There was like, I had a buddy that lived a couple doors down. His toilet didn't work, and he had a work order in for about 6 months, and he had to put the shower head, he had to roll down the shower head, put it in the back of the commode so that he could flush the toilet. Oh, so of course I ate out a lot. Because you don't get BAH, you don't get BAS, basic housing allowance, and then BAS is basically your food allowance, right? And when you're not married, you just get completely fucked. Like, you go ahead and say goodbye to freedom and happiness, because your life is 24/7 military. The barracks are right across the street from your work. Everything's Army. There's barracks inspections, 5 a.m. We're looking through everybody's barracks, blah, blah, blah. We're going to snoop through your stuff. It is so annoying. So annoyed. The cockroaches. The cockroaches are something that you just gonna start, you're gonna be friends with it, right? It's like that, that's like that big bug in Men in Black, the first one. I remember every time I walked through the barracks, they just scurry on the ground in the hallways outside, and they'll get in you'll wake up, turn the lights on, they'll freak out on the floor. I'm not joking around. Like, people are like, oh, it's not that bad. It's so old, and it's so because you have to clean it all the time. If you leave a ham sandwich out in the room for 5 minutes, it's gone. All right, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's so old and so just broken down. It's like they built barracks on like a burial ground of cockroaches or something. It's disgusting. And then you got these things called barrack bunnies. These barracks bunnies, they're usually found on Tinder or Bumble, something like that. And they're always wearing like the same thing. A loose t-shirt with no bra, sweatpants, some weird shoe, like maybe some sandals, no makeup. They always got that specific look to them. And you can really identify them. If not, get close enough, you could really smell them. Pure chlamydia. Disgusting. They're usually spotted with younger Army guys. You know, those guys are like 19. They still pop into the occasional high school party. That's usually the kind of guys they're hanging around. Everybody knows the kind of guy I'm talking about. You just saw the picture in your head. That's the exact type that they're hanging around. Okay, so you got to be careful with it. I know the barracks, but I know when you're a guy and you're in the Army, you will go months without seeing a woman. That's a fact. So sometimes you'll slip up. Hey, watch your ass, okay? There's a health clinic out there. Make sure you check it out, okay? But with all three of those combinations, like, it's just a terrible, just disgusting. I'm somewhat of a germaphobe. I like my shit clean. I like my privacy. I don't want nobody bothering me or nothing like that. The only ass that touches my toilet seat is mine, baby. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm kind of like that. But the only positive thing about living in such a shitty environment is that everybody knows it's shitty. And it almost brings you guys closer together. Your neighbors, if you want to call it that, because everybody's living in the same shit. Hey, what's up? Hey, your toilet working? Nah, shit, my fridge broke. That's another thing that happened. My fridge would sometimes turn off overnight and spoil whatever's in there. So sometimes you won't even know, and it'll turn back on right when you wake up. And then you'll leave, go to PT, come back, lunch, do whatever, and be eating spoil. Dude, I can't tell you. They just don't upkeep the shit. There's no money getting put into it. I know our military is just funded like crazy. It ain't going to Army barracks. It's trash. If any of that sounds good to you, feel free to sign up. I heard nobody's signing up anymore. I would never join again. Finally, I've had it. I was an E4 at the time, so I had 2 ranks to go. I was like, fuck, I'm not waiting. I can't. So I told my leadership, because you have to tell your leadership before you buy an expensive item, where you're moving. If you want to go somewhere, most of the time you got to tell them if you're not a team leader or whatnot, and you have shitty leadership. I had terrible leadership in the beginning. I couldn't wipe. I had to make sure, hey, I'm going to wipe my ass twice. That's cool with y'all? Go ahead. Like, now, yeah, dude, I'm getting pissed off thinking about it. But I remember telling them, hey, I'm going to move out of the barracks. No, I just want to move out. I got some money saved up. I'm good with my money. Like, you don't get paid. If you are under E6, they will not give you BH unless you are married. So you will pay it out of your pocket. They will take your BAH, keep the barracks room open for you, and then you stay off base. What kind of scam is that? So I did that like an idiot, but I had to. And they were trying to tell me, well, we don't know. I don't know if our first sergeant's going to allow you to do that. I'm saying, I'm a grown-ass man. Fuck you, I'm doing it. And I did it. They didn't do nothing about it because I'm a grown-ass man. You ain't telling me where to live. You ain't telling me where to put my head in. It was a great mistake. I didn't save a dime. I used every penny I had every month, man, because you don't get paid really nothing in the military either. So if all that sounds good to you, if you hear that and you're like, man, that sounds like something I really want to experience, feel free to sign up. Feel free to join. I'm not sitting here talking shit about the Army. I actually am, honest with you, because they got a lot to work on. They really do. They don't give a fuck They don't give a damn about lower enlisted. If you're lower enlisted, go ahead and you are basically a cockroach because you're going to be living with them. I just hated it. Everybody hates it. Nobody joins and lives in the barracks and they're like, this is great. Some people have it better than others. I remember joining and going to some of my buddies' places, and they lived in like different barracks. They had like a different unit on base, and great. They had a microwave, they had a stove, air conditioning that worked. Hell, I mean, I remember one time we had to open the fridge and put a fan in front of it because it was during the summers, about 100 degrees outside, and the AC wasn't working. I put a fan in front of the fridge. What's that about? Ain't that ridiculous? You'll get different experiences. You probably won't have as bad of experience as I did, especially if you're going to the chair force. Oh my God, your life will get better being in the Air Force because that's a different video. That's a different. But all right, now if y'all join the military, if y'all got any barrack stories, I'd love to hear them because it varies from person to person, right? I didn't get into the nitty gritty. I ain't jumping into it with all the different things you got to do for the barracks inspections, how you got to clean the floors, how you got to go outside and swipe out the spider web. There's so much stuff that can go into a video, but I kind of want to cover the basis here, not make it too long. But if y'all enjoyed that, let me know. I'm curious to know about y'all's opinions or experiences. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.